I will say, please enter a number. And I will say, gets.chump, so they can enter something. And whatever they enter, that is going to be stored in a variable called number. The question is the number that I have, is that a number or a string? So one way we could find out is we can try to, remember how we, well, let me show you this. Remember how we did 12 plus 12 like that? Ended up being 12, 12 instead of adding the numbers together. So let's see what happens if we add that 12 string, for example, plus the number. So please enter a number. I will say 66. And we get 1266. So this reveals to us that whatever the user types in the terminal as their input for the gets.chomp, even if they type in characters that are numerical, Ruby treats it as a string. So that's a really, really gotcha type of thing that could easily happen to you, where you expect the user to type in a number and you could start adding it to other things only to find that the calculations are not correct because what they entered is considered a string, even if they enter numerical characters. Now, what if we wanted to make a simple program that did some math with user inputted numbers? How do we deal with that? So the short answer is that we can convert user input, even though it starts out as a string, we can convert it into a number. And let me show you how to do that. To do so, we will add something to the end of this gets.chomp that looks a little weird, but it is .to_i. And I'm really not yet, at least, delving into the details of what chomp is and what these periods are, but let's just accept at this point that when you say gets.chomp, whatever the user enters is a string. When you say gets.chomp.toI, which stands, by the way, for to integer, that will convert the user input into a number. So now, let's see what happens when we try this program again. So now I'm going to enter 66. What do you think is going to happen? So now the program actually gives us an error because it's saying there's an error on line 5 saying this weird message that says no implicit conversion of fixed num into string, which is basically Ruby complaining, saying, you know what? This number is a real number. This is a string. I do not have the ability to mesh together a string and a number. Now, if we, let's say, added a number, a real number, let's say 1, plus that number, and we try this again. So if I enter 66, the result will be 67, because Ruby could successfully add a number to this, which is now a real number. And now it does the real math. It takes the number that the user entered and actually treats it as a number and adds 1 to it, giving it a bigger number. So if I wanted a program that said, please enter a number, and I'll double it, so we could do this. We can say, have the user enter a number, gets.chomp.toI, treats it as a number, and then print out number times 2. So here it says, please enter a number, and I'll double it. So if I type in 10, then Ruby prints out 20. It doubled my number. So this is the concept of converting a string into a number, which becomes really important if you're getting user input and you want to do math with it.